Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. In this week's Parsha we find how Yossef is taken out of the pit, the Beis Asurim, and is brought to interpret Pare's dreams. Now when we listen to his interpretation, many questions and many Mefarshim discuss in what way was Pare more satisfied with their interpretation of Yossef than what he heard from his helpers. And the funny thing is that Yossef doesn't finish off the interpretation just by explaining what each part of the dream symbolizes. Yossef actually suggests something that he should be doing because of it. Yossef says, "Va'ata yare pare ish novim v'chachen." Pare, who should find a very wise man, v'yishiseyu al Eretz Mitzrayim, and put him in charge of Eretz Mitzrayim. That wasn't part of the dream. Where does interpretation of the dream? Where does Yossef build up the courage, the chutzpah, to add what's extra, not part of the dream? So perhaps we could find something about Yossef that pushed him to do that. In Parshas Vayeshev, when the whole jealousy starts between Yossef and the brothers, the pasuk says, "V'Yisrael av es Yossef mikol banav." Yaakov loved Yossef more than all of his children. Kiven skunim huloi. So Rashi quotes from the Targum. The Targum says that Ari bar Chakim hula. Yossef was very smart, a big chacham. He was a very smart, very wise man. At that point, he was young, very wise. That's what the Targum says. Comes Rashi. In what way did Yossef was smarter than the rest of the Shvatim? Says Rashi from the Medrash, Kol ma shelimed, Kol ma shelamad mishem ve'ever masar loi. Whatever Yaakov Avinu learned in the yeshiva of Shem ve'ever, he passed it over to Yossef. In other words, there is something great that Yossef had, the rest of the brothers did not have, is that Yossef was, besides studying, obviously all the Shvartim were great tzaddikim, great Talmidei Chachamim, but Yossef actually had shimush. The Gemara Masechta Brachos Daf Mem Zayin Amud Beis says, Afilu kada v'shana, even one who learns and learns and learns, but loy shimesh Talmidei Chachamim. If he didn't do shimush, he didn't actually hands-on sit and discuss with the Talmid Chacham, says the Gemara, Hareza Amaretz. We call him an Amaretz. So who is the Bar Chakim? Who is the wise one, the intelligent one, the smart one, and which led to the jealousy, was Yossef. So Yossef, more than the rest of the brothers, because he actually had the shimush, Kol ma shelamad mishem ve'ever, somehow he spent more time with Yaakov, and Yaakov taught him all what he learned. And perhaps that wisdom, that chacham, that the Targum says, he was ben zikunim, that's what led Yossef to think about an issue that will come up when he interprets Pare's dream. The Dubna Magid, actually this question, why Yossef added those extra suggestions in many Mefarshim. There's a wonderful sikha from the Rebbe about this, how actually this is the most important part of the dream. But the Dubna Magid brings a mashal. The mashal is of a melech who his prince son became very sick. And none of the great doctors that the melech had locally was able to help him. And the kid was getting sicker and sicker, and it was Rahman al-Atzlan. It was very, very dangerous. So the Melech let out a proclamation, or he sent out shluchim to say that if anybody is able, from wherever, whenever, if anybody is able to come and save and heal my son, I will give you oisher v'chaved, all the goodies that you want. So there was a doctor that was from far away, heard this message. He said, maybe I'll take a shot. But if I take a shot, how is it possible that I will figure out something that the biggest and best doctors, who are the king's doctors, the royal doctors, couldn't figure out? Something is wrong. But it'll take a shot. So he traveled to the palace, and his turn to check the prince came, and he took a blood test, and he figured out what he thinks would be a cure for the kid. But he had a dilemma. He says, just imagine if I come and cure the kid, the prince. Then all the biggest doctors are going to gang up against me, and it's going to become a disaster within, and they're going to somehow knock me off. So the outsider had to figure out a plan. So he says to himself, you know what? When the Melech asked him, so do you have a cure? Could you help out my son? So he says, sure, Your Majesty, I think I know what the sickness is, and I think this and this should be done. But to perform this act, I think you need a specialty, a special person who knows how this to be done should deal with it. When the Melech hears that, he says, oh, if you're the one that figured out the sickness, you are the one that must probably are the one that's able to perform the cure. So that what happened in reality, what the Dubna and the Maggid is saying, is the Melech fought ahead. This is exactly what Yossef HaTzadik was saying. Imagine I just interpret the dream. And then the Melech's great advisors, the big knakas there, I'm not going to, fine, the Melech will accept the dream, but then I'm going to have major issues with them. So I put it in the Melech's lap to appoint me as the one to take care of this matter. That is the Chachma that the Onkelos was saying, the Bar Chakim, Ezel Chacham Araya Esnoilim. Everybody, another detail you learn from this story is how Yossef, when he's asked to interpret it, he basically says like a humble man, it's not me, it's Hashem that gives me the koyach to do so. When a person has within him the trust and the belief that Hashem does this for him, he sees distant future, he sees everything, and he has the confidence that he'll be able to overcome any situation.